2:14 a.m., Western Pacific, high altitude. At 50,000 feet, the sky looks empty. No clouds, no contrails, no traffic. That was exactly how the B-2 Spirit was designed to fly. Invisible, unannounced, untouchable. Call sign Ghost 61, the U.S. Air Force's most secretive bomber, cruised silently over the Pacific, its black, angular wings absorbing radar energy like a void in the sky. The crew inside didn't speak much. They didn't need to. Every system was green, until it wasn't. 02:16 a.m. First anomaly. A subtle tone echoed through the cockpit. Not an alarm, not a warning, just a deviation. The B-2's defensive systems flagged something unusual, a passive sensor reflection that didn't match any known radar pattern. The mission commander leaned forward. Confirm that. The systems officer frowned. Sir, I'm seeing atmospheric disturbance. No radar source. No emitter. That was impossible. If something was out there, it had to emit something. But whatever this was watching without speaking. 2:18 a.m. Chinese detection zone. Far below, on the mainland, a PLA Air Force command center lit up. Multiple sensor feeds converged on a single data point. A faint distortion in the upper atmosphere, moving faster than expected, smoother than expected. One analyst whispered, "That's not a drone." Another replied, "And it's not a fighter." The commander stared at the composite image. "It's a bomber." The room went silent. Only one aircraft fit the profile. 2:20 a.m. Scramble order. Two fighters sat armed and ready at a coastal airbase. Chengdu J-20 Mighty Dragons. Stealth-coated, long-range, designed to hunt what others couldn't see. The order was simple. Intercept, identify, do not engage unless fired upon. Engines roared. The fighters lifted into the night, climbing fast, their pilots unaware they were about to test the limits of modern air warfare. 02:23 a.m. B-2 crew alert. The B-2 systems updated again. This time, the tone was sharper. Multiple air contacts detected. The mission commander's voice hardened. Type. The answer came instantly. Low observable. High speed. Vectoring toward us. The B-2 wasn't supposed to be intercepted. Not like this. Not here. 2:25 a.m. First visual. The Chinese pilots climbed into thin air, their cockpits bathed in dim blue light. Their radars showed nothing solid, but their passive sensors told a different story. A void, a hole in the sky where nothing should be. Pilot 1 spoke quietly. Target confirmed. No heat bloom, no emissions. Pilot 2 replied, "That's the Spirit." They adjusted course. Close the distance. 02:27 a.m. The intercept. At 48,000 feet, the distance closed to visual range. The lead J-20 broke radio silence. Unidentified aircraft. You are approaching restricted airspace. Alter course immediately. The B-2 crew heard it clearly. They didn't respond. Stealth doctrine demanded silence. But silence didn't mean safety anymore. 2:29 a.m. Lock-on warning. A new alert lit up inside the B-2. Not missile launch, not radar spike, a tracking solution. The systems officer swallowed. "Sir, they've got a soft lock. Not fire control, but they're holding us." The mission commander nodded slowly. "They see us." That alone changed everything. 2:31 a.m. Chinese escalation. The J-20s flanked the bomber. One high, one low. Perfect geometry, perfect discipline. One pilot armed his missiles, not to fire, to signal intent. Inside the Chinese command center, the feed stabilized. A senior officer spoke. "They're flying too calmly." Another replied, "They know something we don't." 2:33 a.m. Something else appears. Suddenly, every system on both sides reacted. The B-2's displays flickered. The J-20's sensors spiked. A third contact appeared. Not ahead, not behind. Above them, at an altitude no fighter could reach. No heat signature, no transponder, no radar return. Just a moving distortion in the stars. Pilot 2's voice cracked. "Control, I'm seeing something else." The reply came sharp. "Describe it." A pause. "I can't." 02:35 a.m. Systems instability. The J-20's targeting systems glitched. Missile locks dropped. Flight computers recalibrated repeatedly. Inside the B-2, the systems officer whispered, "Sir, our navigation just shifted. We didn't turn, but our heading changed." The mission commander's eyes narrowed. "We're being moved." (02:36 a.m.) The sky goes quiet. No radios, no warnings, no commands. Every aircraft in the area experienced the same thing, a dead zone. The stars above seemed to bend slightly, as if space itself was flexing. Then, a single signal pulsed across every system. Not a voice, not a language, a directive. 2:37 a.m., the message. Both American and Chinese systems translated the same phrase simultaneously. This flight path is observed. A pause. Then, escalation is unnecessary. The J-20 pilots froze. The B-2 crew stared at the display. This wasn't a warning from China, and it wasn't American. 2:38 a.m. cliffhanger. The unknown contact accelerated upward, vanishing into darkness. The J-20s immediately disengaged. Weapons safe, formation broken. The Chinese command center issued a single order: return to base. Do not pursue. The B-2 Spirit resumed its course, untouched, unchallenged, but no longer unseen. The mission commander finally spoke. We weren't intercepted. We were interrupted. 2 Chinese stealth fighters intercepted the most advanced bomber on Earth, but something else was already there, watching, controlling, and deciding when the fight would end. 2:39 a.m. Silence after contact. The sky returned to normal. No distortion, no signal, no interference, but nothing felt the same. Inside the B-2 Spirit, the cockpit was quiet except for the low hum of systems stabilizing. The navigation display slowly corrected itself, snapping back to its original heading as if the aircraft had never been displaced. The systems officer broke the silence. "Sir, every anomaly just vanished." The mission commander nodded. "Log everything. We just flew through something no one's supposed to admit exists." 0241 a.m. Chinese command confusion. At the PLA Air Force Command Center, analysts replayed the intercept footage frame by frame. The J-20 sensors had recorded fragments, starfield distortion, unexplained altitude variance, simultaneous systems, degradation. None of it matched known aircraft. A senior officer spoke quietly. "That was not American." Another replied, "And it was not ours." The room fell silent as the implications settled in. Something else had asserted control of the airspace over both nations. 0244 a.m. J-20 cockpit debrief. As the 2 J-20s turned back toward the mainland, both pilots experienced lingering sensor errors. Missile systems recalibrated twice. Flight computers re-verified terrain data. Targeting memory buffers had gaps. Seconds of missing data. Pilot 1 finally spoke. "I had a clean firing solution." Pilot 2 replied, "So did I." A pause, and then it was gone. They hadn't lost lock. The lock had been taken away. 2:47 a.m. U.S. Strategic Relay. The B-2 transmitted a priority burst to Pacific Command. Stealth compromise event. Foreign intercept confirmed unknown high-altitude contact multi-platform system disruption. The response came back concise. Continue mission. Avoid escalation. Data is being reviewed. But behind that calm wording, alarms were already sounding. Because this wasn't a failure of stealth, it was override. 2:50 a.m., the pattern emerges. As intelligence teams cross-referenced data, a disturbing pattern appeared. Similar anomalies had been quietly logged before. A U.S. satellite briefly losing orientation, a Chinese early warning radar reporting false altitude data, a civilian aircraft experiencing synchronized navigation drift, all in the same corridor of sky, all dismissed as isolated incidents. Until now, 2:54 a.m., what was really intercepted? Back in the air, the B-2 crew reviewed their sensor logs. The unknown contact hadn't tracked the bomber the way a fighter would. It hadn't locked on. It hadn't threatened. Instead, it had monitored trajectories, evaluated weapons states, and intervened only when escalation became likely. The mission commander spoke softly. That thing wasn't defending airspace. It was managing it. 0257 a.m. Chinese doctrine shift. Within hours, China issued internal guidance. Avoid high-altitude intercepts in the affected zone. Do not activate weapon systems during unknown interference. Report all sensor anomalies immediately. No public statement, no press release, just a quiet change in behavior. The J-20s had done their job, but something else had overruled the outcome. 0301 a.m. The question. No one asked aloud. In Washington, analysts debated one unsettling idea. What if the unknown system wasn't designed to protect one side, but to prevent any side from starting something irreversible? What if modern air combat had crossed a threshold where escalation itself triggered intervention? And what if no nation controlled it? 0304 a.m. Final signal analysis. The translated message replayed one last time on secure screens. This flight path is observed. Escalation is unnecessary. No threats, no demands, no allegiance, just boundaries. 03:07 a.m. The B-2 exits the zone. As the B-2 Spirit exited the corridor, every system returned to textbook normal. Stealth signatures stabilized. Navigation locked. No pursuit. The bomber had completed its mission, but it had also delivered a message, unintentionally. Stealth was no longer absolute, and dominance was no longer guaranteed. 03:10 a.m. Final thought. The encounter never became a dogfight. No missiles were fired. No shots exchanged. No headlines written. Yet it changed everything, because for the first time, two rival powers realized the same truth at the same moment. The sky above the Pacific wasn't empty, and it wasn't uncontested. It was being watched. Two Chinese J-20 intercept a US B-2 Spirit, but neither side controlled what happened next, because the future of air warfare may not belong to the fastest jet, but to whoever decides when the fight is allowed to begin.